Education is so broad and can go in so many directions, but if we aren't careful, it'll only lead to deception. Of course, we have our schools that are supposed to teach us the basics, but when we're thrusted into the world, we feel like life is a matrix. So, to truly understand how to navigate through this life, I'll identify what matters so we all can begin to strive. Starting now. Hey yo! What's goody everybody? Today's topic, education, the real world. History, science, English, and math. With so many subjects, there's so many paths. So in order to excel, to fulfill our life's aspirations, today's focus is what truly matters so we land at the right reservation. So now that we're live, let's dive! Point number one, school world. School. Our education starts in school. From the moment we're born, our world embeds us in this tool. From toddlers learning speech to elementary learning math, as we continue to grow, our system creates our paths. So with schools consuming 1/3 of our day, the teachers we leave our kids with can either inspire or make our dreams decay. So the question here is, what's the purpose of our schools? Is it to be diverse or to specialize in one tool? Are we learning the essentials that truly further our career education? Or are we being mismanaged and lacking logical information? Very many questions can stem just from this very one above. So let's break it down in 3 parts for us to discuss. Part 1 is health. Most important is our health, because it doesn't matter our age, our health is our wealth. It should be instilled in us when we're young, and we should understand when we're old, because our health is the one and only thing that we can fully control. From physical education to the right things to eat, we should have these values instilled in us at home and from those who teach. Money can make you happy, but your health will bring you joy, because so many people wish they could do the little things that they used to enjoy. So whether our schools enforce it through class or mandate us to play a sport, what matters is the education, so we have our foundational support. Part 2 is lower and primary education. Is what we're learning truly effective? Because when we put our time towards something, we want to complete an objective. When it comes to math, we must know PEMDAS. That's the basics of our foundation. But is trigonometry and calculus really vital information? If you're a scientist or engineer, then it makes perfect sense. But unless we're striving for those careers, cosines and sines is a wasted time expense. When it comes to English, we have to learn how to properly read and write. But is literature really that important to our future walks in life? Sure, if I'm an aspiring author or editor, it can make something inspiring appear. But in every career field, we read what's essential for us to excel, not Shakespeare. The same thing can be applied to our sciences, arts, and other educations. Our schools should start diverse and allow us to specialize our information. When we're young, we don't know what we want to be. So early education should focus on our mental groundwork, manners, and communications, so we're set up to succeed. Math, English, and science, and history, workshop, and art. By learning both avenues, we're enhancing our fundamentals and creativeness from the start. But at the forefront is manners and communications, so we understand how to properly interact. This way, when we grow older, we'll truly have an impact. Then in high school, we insert finance and political science so we can understand life's essentials. This way, when we graduate, we know all the fundamentals. Part 3 is higher education. This applies to our majors. Unless you go to trade school, we can be deterred from what puts us in favor. Our expertise is our career. That generally determines our field. But if our major is specialized, we're handicapping our yield. Sports management, telecommunications, art history, or specialized education? If you remove the first part, you'll have a much firmer foundation. Sports management is handicapped because it only applies to sports. So instead of sport management, pursue finance or accounting. Allow your aptitude in numbers to be your career support. Telecommunications is specialized technology. You should get that experience. If your degree is communications, you can be in tech, journalism, media, or marketing. There's no interference. Art history is just a history of art, nothing else. Comprehending the world's full history will diversify you from everybody else. And specialized education like elementary or PE segments you to one group. Instead of education, get a prominent degree in the field you wish to teach. Then the school will value and compensate you for the expertise you can preach. There are plenty of other examples of institutions creating these new degrees. But if you truly broke it down, they mean nothing in our careers. It might as well be a money scheme. So get the foundational education from your school and the field expertise at your job. because a weekly 3-hour course can't teach you what you'll encounter daily at your job. So focus on your education and forget the specification, because what your degree should do is make you more presentable on your application. So now that we've broken down how education should be handled in the school, next I'll go over the real world to avoid being a fool. Point number 2, the real world. We've tackled the school system and how it's supposed to set us up for our career. But the skills that honestly matter most are the ones in real life that appear: skilled trades, money management, and relationships. The big 3. So let's tackle each one so we can conquer each one of these. Part 1 is skilled trades, things we can learn, because when we're inept, it's hard to discern. Computers, handiwork, mechanics, and electricians. We don't have to be experts, but the basics should be our mission. How to operate, use a drill, change your tires, and change a fan. Instead of paying someone 3 times the amount for labor, you can be the handyman. By learning all the little nuances, you don't have to rely on anybody else for minor inconveniences. And since you have an idea of what needs to be done, contractors and mechanics can't scam you into thinking they're geniuses. When you're unaware, you have to put your faith into someone you may not even trust. So now that you're adept, you understand the costs, what sounds right, and who's honest instead of unjust. Part 2 is money. Learning how money works is vital, because if we mismanage, it begins a tumultuous cycle: saving, investing, owning, and taxes. These subjects are not discussed in school, but is monumental to the masses. Save at least 6 months of expenses in case any emergencies occur. And save to own your property. Monthly payments will only make your account worse. When you invest, assess what you buy. Don't simply rely on another, because at the end of the day, this is your money, not your sister's or your brother's. When it comes to owning, it's an additional asset. When you're renting an apartment, you're only putting yourself into debt. And taxes appear complicated when you're unaware of what to do. But if you practice a few times on TurboTax, you'll be surprised just how simple it is for you. Although our schools teach us math, we must learn how to apply it to money. So we must teach ourselves how to operate our cash flow to avoid it acting funny. Part 3 is relationships, an undersold value in school. Because schools teach us grades only matter, but how you treat others is the real tool. Whether it's acquaintances, colleagues, family, or friends, how you act throughout your life will ultimately depend. When we're hired on the floor, we're viewed as a body, but as the role increases, we stand out from everybody. Since the world is based on relationships, multiple people can fulfill your occupation. So if you have a bad reputation, especially supervising others, most will pass you with no hesitation. So be respectful, be nice, and don't be fake, because in the perfect world, we all succeed, and we will all become great. So now that we've gone over education and its importance in the real world, next, I'll go over our lives so our best selves unfurl. Point number 3, life. So life. What's education in life? We just went over school in the real world, so there can't be anything else, right? Wrong. There's certainly more, because this one is the most important and is rooted to our core. It's our soul, our beings, and the ability to be aware, because if we're oblivious, being absent will only lead to despair. It's all outlined right here. He provides us with many guidelines and rules. Even if you don't believe in Jesus, many scriptures in here can be your tool. Part 1 is you, how you should act, because hate only spawns hate, so love must be intact. Number 1 is the golden rule: treat others as you want them to treat you. We can only control our own actions, so show others what you will want them to do. Number 2 is do not seek revenge. It only creates hate, because one side must cease fire for peace to be in state. And number 3 is do not be prideful. You are no different from any other, because we are all made the same. We are all sisters and brothers. So before you look at anybody else, you must first look in the mirror, because the more we express humility, the more our Father becomes clear. Part 2 is be aware of your surroundings. Don't get deceived by the masses, because if you fall into the traps of this world, the end result will be tragic. Number 1 is to be aware of the deceivers, because the world is rooted in sin. So be conscious of who to trust and what you decide to allow in. Number 2 is be watchful of your surroundings. Never drop your guard, because when you're distracted, you leave an opening for someone to leave a scar. And number 3 is to be cognizant of the people who justify evil actions, because if they're okay with one sin, they're open to many more infractions. So be present, be aware, and be conscious with who you believe, because if you're nonchalant, someone or something will easily deceive. Part 3 is knowledge. Our brain matters most. When we're focused on the light, then our adversaries will be easy to dispose. Number 1 is our faith. Focus on God. If we put Him first, our worries will become a facade. Number 2 is the King Commandments. Adhere to his commands, because when we follow his rules, we understand they're the keys to pure joy. They're not demands. And lastly is number 3. Jesus, his son, came to earth and died for our sins. When we embrace him as our savior, we're guaranteed another life of happiness that will never cease and never end. So when it comes to the spectrum of education, it's very broad, but only a few things truly matter in our lives. So starting today, we're handpicking which avenues to take so we can position ourselves to strive. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you'd like to see more, please feel free to check out the channel and subscribe, because there's more in store. From one witness to another, you are special. Hook out.